Sebastian Loeb in the onboard shocks through turns 5, 4 and 5 principally, and picks up the slipstream, begins to catch to the back of the Audi, but the straight isn't long enough. He has a look down the inside. Look, this guy is braver than Dick Tracy, and if he thinks there's a sniff of a chance, I suspect he's going to take it, and he's now putting the Audi of Meyer Melnhof under pressure. But again, seeing the same as René Rast, blocking off the opportunities, coming into turn 9, into turn 10, both second gear corners, not much chance to have a run down the inside, then this short sprint down into what would be the penultimate corner on the original circuit layout. Now it's turn 12, turn 11 and 12.
Don't forget, this isn't just about, well, it isn't really about championship points. The winner of the race only picks up 8 points. It's about setting the grid for tomorrow's main race. So that is why it's so important. If you can be on pole, you have the inside line for turn 1 and the furthest place forward on the grid, obviously, which gives you a huge advantage. We saw second place on the grid man today, Alvaro Perrin, almost getting shuffled out of the first corner. So it's going to be very, very interesting to watch. There is Perrin watching on.
I think you might say intently.
Yeah, intently. Very true. As they come through the double right-hander, Maximilian Buch is all alone for third place. He's got it very, very easy.
Watch the Audi on the exit of turn 5. It's here that they've got probably the singular... some
damage.
Tyre.
It must be a tyre rubbing on the rear right axle there for Stefano Telli. Or sorry, the rear right bodywork.
No, it's been hit pretty severely.
Yeah,
so that's bodywork rubbing as we go back to the lead, to the battle for the lead.
And Loeb, look at that on the brakes, almost getting alongside. Yes, he's trying to go around the outside of the hairpin. Meyer Melnhof holds it in there. He runs him right towards the outside of the circuit, and Meyer Melnhof holds on for the moment. That was close.
I think for a fraction of a second, I think Sebastian Loeb may well have had the nose of the McLaren ahead of the nose of the Audi, but he was on the outside, and again, running close. I don't think they've had any contact, but you couldn't have had much space between these two cars. And a great battle. I mean, Nicky Meyer Melnhof having to defend is very much the same way as René Rast did, but with the less experienced racing driver, Sebastian Loeb, behind him. But he doesn't look very inexperienced to me.
No, absolutely not. So Meyer Melnhof comes across the line. He's got a reputation for some fierce defending as Nicky Meyer Melnhof. I remember him pushing Laurens Vanthoor onto the grass at Slovakia Ring. And talking of Laurens Vanthoor, there's his car in the hands of Stefano Telli in a gravel trap. I think that's just parked up by the looks of things, isn't it?
I'm not quite sure. Well,
no, he's got going again, so he must have spun. This is Andres Zuber getting all wiggly as he tries to go past Wolfgang Reip.
What are they doing way down in 15th? Obviously, I know the puncture for Mike Parisi, but I thought they might have been able to do a little bit more than that. Anyway, Andreas Zuber down in 15th. Team Boss, second.
Yep. Down towards the hairpin they come, and Meyer Melnhof needs to cover the inside line because Loeb's going to put it there, and I'm afraid that's going to be the lead of the race for Sebastian Loeb. Is it? No! Well, Meyer Melnhof well and truly squeezed.
I'm going down to Park Family to do the interviews with the drivers, lead first 3 places, and I will love to see the body action between the 2 Audi and the 2 McLaren drivers, because they'll have tales to tell.
Absolutely.
There'll be a lot of if, ands or buts in their summaries of their races.
Meyer Melnhof needed to hold the inside line earlier, didn't he? We could see it coming, and we've seen on the last lap how good Loeb was on the brakes.
Loeb is extremely good on the brakes, and he put the car down the inside. He had no margin to the right. He couldn't go anywhere, and the Audi was just continuing to squeeze. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Loeb had to take a little bit of the curb on the inside into turn 9 to avoid the contact that otherwise was inevitable.
So Ortelli comes into the pits with damage, so it's a real miserable day for the number 11 WRT squad. But the number 12 car is out in the lead of the race at the moment. Nicky Meyer Melnhof with some vigorous defending. There is Ortelli. Sounds like we're getting some tyres changed on that car. And then he may well head back out, because get to the end of the race and, you know, it'll give you grid position for tomorrow, which if you start 16th or 20th, it could make a difference. And we're going to see a replay. Well, this is just the rear right. Yeah,
I mean, that was a big smack in the right rear of the car. Then he runs very wide, going through turn
there he goes.
9, and he just pivots around, and the car spins through 360 degrees, and eventually got it going.
So he's back out again for another shot at this on the very war-wounded number 11 Audi R8 LMS as we go on board with Sebastian Loeb. 13 minutes to go here at Nogaro. Sebastian Loeb is in second place, trying his hardest to get past Nicky Melnhof, but at the moment the Austrian driver is holding on in front. On the brakes, through the final two corners and out onto the start-finish straight again to complete their 30th lap of the race so far in what has been really dominated by this battle for the lead. There's been great scraps throughout, but it's this lead battle that's kept all our attentions.
Well, the number one drivers, let's call them that, were pretty evenly matched, and the co-drivers in respective cases equally matched. And Sebastian Loeb, though, very, very keen to win this qualifying race this afternoon.
So, through the back section they come again and out onto the long start-finish, the long back straight. There's Anthony Kumpen then. 4th place for him at the moment, and he's got a 4.1 second advantage over Carlos Vieira in 5th place. So that's good for them, and Karun Chandok is up into 6th place, quite close behind Carlos Vieira actually. So that might be a battle worth watching, although Vieira pulled out from Chandok on that last lap. Ricardo Zonta and Kaka Bueno are in 8th and 9th positions at the moment, the two BMW cars, and they've got Lucas Ordonez right behind them, completing the top 10. But it's the battle for the lead that's the one to watch.
And there's one key corner on this racetrack, and that to me is turn 5. That's where the Audi can steal a few yards over the McLaren, and whether it's Alvaro Perez or Sebastian Loeb and the McLaren, that's where they're losing, and it's a key part of the racetrack, because that leads on to the fastest part of the racetrack. If Loeb could get the McLaren to stick to the tail of the Audi through 5, then he would have a realistic chance of getting alongside before he got onto the brakes into turn 9.
Maximilian Buch is running about a second a lap quicker than those guys in front of him. I don't think, well, he hasn't got long enough left to really close in, but that could be a combination to watch going into the future. If they hadn't had troubles in qualifying, which meant they weren't allowed to go through to Superpole, then it could have been different.
There's Karun Chandok.
Yep.
Running in...
He's in 6th position there, transponder issues there, so
working, yeah.
He's not coming up as being the driver. There's Carlos Vieira, 5th place. Here is some lappery going on, going past the number 3 HTP Gravity Charouz Mercedes, now in the hands of Peter Charouz, the young man from the Czech Republic, who's only really competed in the Blancpain Super Trofeo so far this season. And, well, this was Loeb's kind of closest opportunity. He got well in front, didn't he?
Well, it was half a car length in front, but of course he was on the outside of the circuit, the dirtier part of the racetrack. All the rubber would be rolling off, so he had to check to ensure that he didn't run off track, which of course then gave the opportunity back to Maya Melnhof to get the lead back, albeit it was a half a car's length. But as I say, this is turn 5 for the work that is going to benefit the McLaren has got to be done. And coming into turns 1, 2, 3, these two cars are evenly matched. Just exit out of 5 is where they lose it.
10 minutes to go here in Nogaro. There is the 3rd place, Maximilian Buch. As they come towards the right-hander at turn 4, he's pushing hard. The gap is now down to 6.3 seconds between Buch and Loeb. It's not going to be enough for them. But still, with 9 minutes to go, it's been a very impressive performance from them, and they will end up 2nd in class by the looks of things. Here comes Sebastian Loeb now. Again, to the outside he looks. But he's not going to, well, he's going to try and go around the outside again. We know what Melnhof's going to do here. He's going to squeeze him onto the grass, which, if anything, putting Loeb onto the grass might give him an advantage as they come into the double left-hander.
And of course, what Melnhof does, he just puts the car down the inside, precludes Sebastian Loeb from trying to come back at him. Then this short run out of turn 10 down into 11 and 12, nowhere really to pass unless you are absolutely alongside. So we're just seeing literally driver following driver up into turn 13, the penultimate corner on the lap. It's not a particularly quick corner, Again, the key is to get the car positioned to get a good exit out of turn 14. But the straight and Rene Rast, he's watching his co-driver. He did his business when he was in the car defending against Alvaro Parent. So it's all about just positioning for Sebastian Loeb. He's got to work it out, and then once he gets that position, just use it.
So these two cars have seldom been separated by more than half a second throughout the entirety of the 52 minutes of the race so far. They really concertina up there, and it's through this final, well, this turn 5, the final corner before the long straight, that Loeb has a bit of an advantage.
I think he's better placed this time. He's closer to the back of the Audi this time, coming through turn 5, then straight. Now he gets up, trying to get alongside before he gets under the brakes, but the Audi is good under the brakes. And Loeb, I thought he was going to try and he might make the cut back this time because he's got a better entry to the corner, but he can't get the McLaren alongside the Audi before they got to turn into turn 8.
How frustrating must this be? Full credit to Nicky Manmanov. He's defending very strongly, very firmly, very convincingly so far with 7.5 minutes to go. Sebastian Loeb, in his debut in international series racing, is really struggling to find a way past on this tight and twisty Nogaro circuit. It's a classic circuit, really. It hasn't been changed much since it was being raced on by the likes of Alain Prost in the 70s.
No, it's one of the circuits in France. It's part of the federation. It's a very popular racetrack. There's a bit of battling going on here.
Yeah. So
3 BMWs and the Nissan.
What have we got here? We've got well, Aman Ibrahim has been passed now by Caco Bueno. Caco Bueno in the 0 car, which is the number he races in Brazilian stock cars, where he's won the championship 5 times and won at Interlagos in the first race of this season as well, in a thrilling race. But anyway, that's a different story. He has managed to get past Aman Ibrahim, and now his teammate Ricardo Zonta is trying to get past Aman Ibrahim, the ex-BAR racer, who very famously, well, a couple of famous things happened to him at Spa. He got passed either side by Hakkinen and Schumacher, and he absolutely totaled a BAR, didn't he, at Eau Rouge. Here we go again.
Down the inside.
Here's the dummy from Loeb, but Manmanov sees it coming. Is that more than 2 moves?
He's got it this time.
Sebastian Loeb takes the lead of the first round of the FIA GT Series. Manmanov was too busy looking in his mirrors, too busy changing his line. He locked up, ran wide, and Sebastian Loeb is into the lead. About time too, I think, from the McLaren's perspective.
Well, I mean, he worked over the back of the Audi for lap upon lap upon lap. He got the run this time through turn 5, got the position, and he was then able to apply even more pressure and force the Audi into making a manoeuvre which then would ultimately compromise and allow Loeb in the McLaren to take the lead, and that's really pretty impressive. Bit of motor racing from the 9-time world rally champion.
The French fans absolutely loving it as Loeb comes across the line. Then he's already built up 1.4 seconds to Nicky Manmanov. Expect him now to pull away, and Manmanov could be in trouble from Maximilian Buch, you know.
Well, I think that the Maximilian Buch,
seconds between them.
The momentum has gone to Buch, because he can now see the Audi dropping back from the McLaren. That's incentive to Buch to run down the Audi. We've got 5 minutes remaining, and now you can see Rene Rast's face. That sort of almost smirking smile that he had while they were leading the race has disappeared. He knows that the second position that was his current position is now going to be under challenge from Buch in the Mercedes.
So down towards turn 7, Sebastian Loeb in the Sebastian Loeb Racing McLaren MP412C is the leader. But look at this for second and third now. Maximilian Buch, who's a really, really impressive young talent, you have to say. He hasn't got much. Well, here's a look at the replay. So Manmanov was on the outside. He moved back to the outside, almost got caught out by the dump. Well, did get caught out. Couldn't get it stopped, could he?
Well, it was a sort of a double dummy, but it meant that the Audi slightly overran the corner. He didn't get the apex, and that allowed Loeb the opportunity to cut back under. So it was like being a double agent. You had a double dummy.
The marshal on the exit of the corner was cheering as Loeb went past, as were the substantial crowd here at Nogaro. But here's the battle for second place then. And Manmanov, he can get quite fiery in the cockpit. We saw him kick a few things, didn't we, in Navarra last year.
Nothing wrong with kicking a bit of things, is there?
So he needs to calm down. Well, I'm sure there have been many drivers. Oh, that's Aman Ibrahim and Lucas Ordonez. So those two have, I presume, come together at turn 7. I mean, That pretty much will be. I don't think it needs to be Jessica Fletcher to figure that out. Probably a puncture there as well. Here we go. Ordonez.
Yeah, down the inside.
Really close enough, is he?
And is the Audi going to? The Audi just drives down. And well, you know, when you're so far wide and you cut across. I don't know what the regulation is in GT racing regarding how far up or how far back a car is going to be to have to concede the corner, but certainly in Formula 1 terms, the Nissan had the corner in that case.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, wasn't it? Because you couldn't quite see from this particular angle, but let's watch as Maximilian Buch closes down on Nicky Manmanov. As I say, Buch is relatively inexperienced. He's only 20 years of age. He won GT3 last year, and since then he's only got, I mean, before then, he's only got 2 years in ADAC Formal Masters to contend with, so relatively inexperienced, but he learned a lot last season as they come down towards the right-hander. Through the double right. And then towards the final two corners. I think this will be to start the penultimate lap of the race. And, well, Lucas Ordonez is going quite slowly there. Oh, he was on the apex of the corner, but they just passed him in time as they head down towards turn one again.
Well, Buch is certainly going to give Nicky Manmanov in these closing moments of this race a good workover. The Mercedes has had the momentum since the lead changed. And again, it's going to be the key corner on this racetrack. Whether the Mercedes can achieve what it took McLaren a very long time to do, and that's get into position. It takes a different line to get a much better exit. Now, the gap between the two cars, well, the straight line, the speed of the Mercedes, I don't think is going to be sufficient on this lap. But we wait to see whether Maximilian Buch is going to be courageous on the brakes. The Audi's not having to defend, so Manmanov is not concerned about an attack coming, and it doesn't come with 1 3/4 minutes remaining.
So through the right-hander at turn 8 they come. Sebastian Loeb continues to lead the way. 1.5 minutes remaining, so this will be about to start the final lap of the race. A little run wide there from Buch as he pushes hard to try and close down in second place. Anthony Kumpen just sets his personal best in the first sector. But I think the qualifying session really shook everything up. I think we're going to see a very close race tomorrow, because at the end of this qualifying race, everything is kind of shaken into place almost. So tomorrow, in the main race, as they start the final lap, I think it's going to be very, very close with the likes of Kumpen, with the likes of Vieira, with the likes of Chandok and Seyfarth. Kaka Bueno in there as well. What's Bueno's and Zonta's lap times like? They're doing 30.0, so they're doing the pace of the leaders, Kaka Bueno and Ricardo Zonta, down in 7th and 8th positions. So I think tomorrow is going to be very, very tight. Loeb leads. Here's the second place battle then, and really it's one chance. It's now or never, I'd say, for Maximilian Buch, going down into turn 7 for the final time.
Slightly better place this time, but you're going to see more defence from the Audi going to the right of the racetrack. The Mercedes lights flashing. Is he going to make a brave move? He's going to go around the outside, maybe going to try and force an error from the Audi driver, as we saw Sebastian Loeb do some minutes ago, but no, he's not able to do it. But he is. Ooh, he just got the nose almost to the tail of the Audi as they swept into turn 8.
So down towards the double left-hander. And it looks as though Nicky Manmanov has held on to this second place for the time being. But, well, Manmanov still having to go defensive, and that could give Buch a chance. Not really. And into the final, look at Manmanov totally backing up Maximilian Buch. But these two aren't going to grab the headlines. The man who is going to grab the headlines is going to be Sebastian Loeb, the 9 times World Rally champion, sees the checker flag and wins the qualifying race here at Nogaro. Second place just for Nicky Manmanov. Only a 1/10 of a second between them as they cross the line. Third place, Maximilian Buch in the HTP Gravity Charouz Mercedes. 4th position is going to be Anthony Kumpen. And he's got a bit of traffic in front of him, but that's not going to cause him too much problems. 4th place for Kumpen in the Audi. 5th place for Carlos Vieira in the Audi. Strong performance from Nova driver. Very, very good to see the Portuguese squad doing so well. Karun Chandok will come home in 6th place, but Sebastian Loeb takes the win. The applause from all around the circuit as the Sebastian Loeb Racing McLaren comes across the line to take the victory. There are the two Team Brazil BMWs. 7th and 8th places for them. I think they'll be fairly satisfied with that on their debut, on their first real venture outside of Brazil as well. But there is Loeb down towards turn 7, and you can hear the applause. You can hear how pleased the French fans are that Loeb has taken victory in front of them in his first venture into a full season of international circuit racing. Second place for Nicky Meermanov, I think, will please them, and you do get some points for this race, but the most important thing is to have taken the pole position for tomorrow's main race. It's coming up on Monday afternoon, bank holiday Monday afternoon, the traditional coup de pack here in Nogaro, which has been happening for years and years. Alain Prost won the coup de pack back in 1974, I believe. It'll be very interesting when these guys talk to Watty what their opinions are of some of the battles that went on out there, because Meermanov was certainly, as we've seen throughout Meermanov's career, pushing the bracket a little bit. But these drivers come back in to the pit lane. The marshals applauding as well. And this will obviously move Sebastian Loeb and Alvaro Perret to the top of the Drivers' Championship. Top drive from Maximilian Buch, though. Very, very impressive stuff from him. As I say, not much experience, but he's definitely a GT star of the future. There's no doubt about that at all, because he has been so impressive. But there is Sebastian Loeb then, about to climb out of his car. And a famous victory this will be. No one quite expected him to come here and win like this. It was a possibility, of course, but such is the strength and depth in this FIA GT Series field that it was by no means an easy job done. And as he climbs out of the car, removes his balaclava, puts on his cap, and he will soon be talking to John Watson and then heading to the podium ceremony. And a very, very happy team. And we can now hear from Sebastian Loeb. He's down in Parc Fermé. John Watson's got him.
Sebastian, fantastic overtake, great race. 35 laps to get it done, but you did it.
Yeah, it was complicated to overtake this Audi because they were really very good job.
Good fight.
They were really quick in the slow parts, and with in the straight we could have some opportunity, but they were closing the door every time, so we had to fight hard, and finally it's a nice win for the first race with Alvaro, which is just here. So
a great job, congratulations. But you know, you've dominated World Rally for 9 years. You're now going to dominate this as well.
It's only the first race, so we have to continue to work, and it will not be like this every time for sure. We have to work and fight, but Alvaro has done a great job. He was at the contact all the first part of the race, and he gave me the car. In the second place we could overtake, so it was a great job.
Fantastic, well done, congratulations.
So Sebastian Loeb taking the victory as all the media try and get a look at him.